Now we're gonna discuss how these two high-level languages, Fortran and Algol, respond to programming language principles. Abstraction. Avoid requiring something to be stated more than once. Factor out the recurring pattern. Any commonly occurring pattern in the program code should be recognized and able to be implemented such that the repetition of the pattern is minimized. Example, the use of submodules. Violation. Fortran 77 does not support pointers and heap dynamic variables, so binary trees must be implemented using parallel arrays. Violation. Fortran 90 does not have records, so arrays of records must be emulated using parallel arrays. Violation. The declaration of the command block structure in Fortran had to be repeated in such subprogram. Compilance. Fortran supported subprograms. Defense in depth principle. If an error gets through one line of defense, then it should be called by the next line of defense. There should exist multiple checks for errors in a program such that error detection is maximized. For example, if an error is not recognized in syntax checking, it should be recognized in type checking. Violation. Fortran does not have exception handling or type checking. Violation. Fortran has implicit variable declaration. Information hiding principle. The user has only the information required to use the module, and the implementer has only the information required to implement it. Changes in implementation does not affect the other code, only changes in the interference. Unnecessary information should not be visible or modifiable. Violation. All information passing in Fortran, apart from command blocks use, is done through parameters passed by reference, often forcing the programmer to specify more information than necessary. Preservation of information principle. Allow representation of information that the user might know and the compiler might need. For example, the method of parameter passing used in subprogram is often an ability of languages to allow users to choose side effects that are active to the actions of a submodule. Compilance. Fortran programmers were able to see what variables would be used for indexing in do loops and keep their values in the index registers for optimization. Regularity principle. Language rules should be applied universally without exception. There should not exist any exceptions to grammar rules. For example, if a semicolon denotes the end of a line, it should be required after every statement. Compilance. In Algol, a sequence of statements can replace a single statement using the block structure. Violated by Fortran can store strings in integers. 0-1 infinity principle. The only reasonable numbers in programming language design are 0, 1 and infinity, a special case of the regularity principle. A programming language construct should be limited to being singular, 0, or be able to scale to infinity. Violation. Fortran 77 arbitrarily limits identifier names to 6 characters. Violation. Fortran 77 arbitrarily limits arrays to 3 dimensions. Violation. Fortran limits the size of arrays. Not sure on this, but I think that it does. Compilance. Arrays in Algol can have any number of dimensions and can have negative indices. Syntactic consistency. Things which look similar should be similar, and things which look different should be different. The language should have visually different constructs to avoid confusion between similar symbols for constructs. Violation. The simple computed and assigned code statement in Fortran are different but look similar. Violation. Fortran uses asterisk for multiplication and double asterisk for exponents. Compliance. Algol used double dot and equals for assignment and only an equal for equality. Here's a summary. Violation principles of Fortran. 0-1 infinity. Violation. Fortran 77 arbitrarily limits identifier names to 6 characters. Violation. Fortran 77 arbitrarily limits arrays to 3 dimensions. Defense in depth. Violation. Fortran does not have exception handling or type checking. Violation. Fortran have inclicked variable declaration. Syntactic consistency violation. The simple, computed, and assigned code statements in Fortran are different but look similar. Violation. Fortran uses asterisk for multiplication and double asterisk for exponents. Structured programming or regularity. Violation. Code statements are required in Fortran 77 to emulate while loops, and there are 3 similar-looking versions of the code statements with different behavior. Information hiding. Violation. All information passing in Fortran, apart from command block use, is done through parameters passed by reference, often forcing the programmer to specify more information than necessary. Summary. Compliance of principles. Fortran. Abstraction. Fortran use subprograms. Abstraction example. The use of submodules. Compliance. Fortran supported subprograms. Preservation of information. Fortran's dual loop preserve this principle. Preservation of information. Compliance. Fortran programmers were able to see what variables would used for indexing in dual loops and keep their values in the index registers for optimization. Summary. Compliance of principles. Algol. Orthogonality. Let all combinations of a small set of primitives be legal. Regularity. Sequence of statements can replace a single statement using the block. 0-1 infinity. Arrays in Algol can have any number of dimensions and can have negative indices. Summary. Compliance of principles. Algol. Syntactic consistency. Algol used double dot equal for assignment and only equal for equality.